Welcome back to Doomsday Prepper. Before we dive into today's deep topic, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our essential survival content. Today, we're tackling a dark, thought-provoking question. What happens after Doomsday? Will humanity turn violent? And can we survive in a world that's fallen apart? We're also taking a closer look at the probabilities of various Doomsday scenarios. Stay tuned, because this is going to be a deep one. Segment 1. What happens after Doomsday? When we talk about Doomsday, we usually mean some kind of catastrophic event that disrupts society as we know it. This could be anything from an economic collapse to a natural disaster, a pandemic, or even nuclear war. But what happens after that? How do humans react when the safety nets of modern civilization are suddenly ripped away? In most cases, humanity will face a period of intense survival. It's not just about surviving the initial catastrophe, it's about adapting to a new world where law and order break down. People will rely on basic survival instincts: shelter, food, water, and security. But what happens when those resources run out? Or when groups of people begin competing for what's left? Segment 2. Will humanity turn violent? This is the question on many minds. Will we descend into chaos, looting, and violence? Or can humanity pull together and rebuild from the ashes? History shows us that in times of crisis, people do sometimes turn violent. Think about the aftermath of major wars or economic crashes. Communities have fallen apart and the survivors were often forced to fight for resources. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are also examples of people coming together in the face of disaster, creating new communities, and helping each other rebuild. The reality likely lies somewhere in between. In the short term, the collapse of society could lead to chaos, especially if resources like food, water, and fuel are scarce. In a world where you can no longer trust the police or government to intervene, people may turn to violence out of desperation. This is why building strong, self-sufficient communities now is essential. People will need to rely on each other and form tight-knit networks to survive. However, humans have a remarkable ability to adapt and cooperate when the situation calls for it. So, while some will undoubtedly become violent, others will focus on long-term survival strategies like bartering, farming, and defending each other. The key will be to avoid isolation and find a group that prioritizes mutual support over conflict. Segment 3. Doomsday probabilities. Now, let's talk about the probabilities of some common doomsday scenarios. While it's impossible to predict the future with certainty, we can examine these threats based on current trends and historical patterns. 1. Economic collapse. A financial meltdown is a highly probable event, especially given the global debt crisis and economic inequalities. Experts suggest the likelihood of a global financial crisis or recession in the next decade is relatively high. This could lead to mass unemployment, loss of government services, and a rise in crime as people fight to survive. 2. Natural disasters. Earthquakes, floods, wildfires, and hurricanes are all natural disasters that happen every year. However, a large-scale, catastrophic event like a supervolcano or asteroid impact is much less likely, but it's still within the realm of possibility. The probability of a major natural disaster triggering widespread societal collapse is low, but localized disruptions could have devastating impacts. 3. Pandemics. As we've seen in recent years, pandemics are a very real threat. While the likelihood of a global catastrophe like the Spanish flu is unpredictable, the growing emergence of drug-resistant diseases and global interconnectedness means it's a possibility. The odds are moderate, but the impact could be catastrophic. 4. Nuclear war. The risk of a full-scale nuclear war remains a concern, especially in a world with rising geopolitical tensions. While the probability is relatively low, the potential for devastating consequences is enormous. A limited nuclear exchange could devastate large areas, disrupt food production, and cause radiation sickness, potentially leading to violent struggles for survival. 5. Technological collapse. With the increasing reliance on technology, we face the risk of a cyber attack or EMP that could disable critical infrastructure. While the chances of a total tech collapse are still relatively low, experts agree that the threat of cyber warfare is growing. Segment 4. How can we prepare for post-doomsday? So, what does all of this mean for us, the preppers? It means that while the chances of some kind of doomsday event happening are low, it's still worth preparing for it. Here's how you can get ready for whatever might come. 1. Build a strong community. Whether it's your family, friends, or like-minded preppers, building relationships now will be crucial. The strength of your group will determine how well you fare after a collapse. Look for people with skills that complement yours: gardeners, medics, builders, and others who can contribute to a self-sustaining lifestyle. 2. Stockpile essentials. Start storing non-perishable food, clean water, medical supplies, and tools. Remember, the first few months after a disaster are the hardest, so having supplies to rely on will be crucial. Don't forget things like fire-starting tools, weapons, and communication equipment. 3. Self-defense. It's hard to say whether violence will break out in the aftermath of a doomsday event, but it's always better to be prepared. Learn self-defense techniques and consider having firearms, but also focus on non-violent conflict resolution within your group. 4. Mental resilience. Survival isn't just about having the right gear. It's about staying calm, focused, and adaptable. Practice mental resilience by simulating survival scenarios and learning how to manage stress. 5. Adapt to change. The ability to adapt to a changing world is one of the most important survival skills. This means being ready to change your plans if necessary, learning new skills, and staying informed about global events. In the end, doomsday scenarios are unpredictable, but one thing is certain: humanity has the ability to survive and rebuild. Will we turn violent, or will we find a way to come together and thrive in a new world? Only time will tell. But for now, we can all prepare as best as we can, not just with the right gear, but with the right mindset. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember that survival is about more than just staying alive. It's about staying human. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more prepping tips and strategies. Until next time, stay ready.